Would you fly on a plane that's 37 years old? To put that into perspective, the average age of commercial aircrafts flying in South Africa is 21 years. And if you remove the airline we'll be flying today from the equation, the average drops to 18 years. So what's it like flying such an old bird? Can you tell it's been around for a while? And is it really that different compared to newer jets? That's what we'll be finding out today. Welcome to the home base of this channel, Cape Town International Airport. Today we are flying on a flight which to most people wouldn't be anything special. Then again, all the flights on this channel aren't anything special to most people, unless you like aviation of course. That said, it is certainly quite the cool flight. Not for the route, but for the aircraft. The route we'll be flying today is far from special. I mean, the Cape Town to Joburg route is not only the busiest domestic route within Africa, but also the busiest route inside the whole of Africa. The star of today's show is Zulu Sierra Golf Alfa Romeo, Lift's 37-year-old A320, which is the oldest active of its type in the world. But more on that later, let's get through security first. After almost 20 minutes, we finally make it through security. It seems that Sunday mornings is a busy period. One thing I've always liked about Cape Town International is the large windows throughout the airside section of the terminal. Apart from letting in lots of natural light, it also provides great views of the ramp. Since we have sufficient time till boarding, it's only right we do some spotting. As you can see, water on the runway creates a lovely dramatic scene around the aircraft.
When Alan is calling because he said that you must go to your side.
Our gate is A12, which is right at the end of the terminal. Luckily, since Cape Town's airport isn't that big, at least on the global scale, that means only walking a mere 190 meters or so. Now here's the main attraction for today, our aircraft. As I've mentioned, she was built 37 years ago in the year 1989. She started off flying for Braniff, an American carrier which stopped operating in 1989, meaning the aircraft was only flying with the airline for less than a year. After that short stint, she moved on to a couple more American carriers before coming to global in 2016. Ever since, she's kept the same registration, even going to Commie apparently according to planespotters.net. You can see it says September 2018 for both Commie and Kulula, so if you know what happened here, please leave a comment, I'd love to know. But she's also been leased to Sunrise Airways, a Haitian carrier, Corendon and Uganda Airlines, so it's clear that Golf Alfa Romeo has had an eventful life so far. Anyway, enough chatting about the plane, let's board. Here's Lima Kilo Golf, Airlink's 4th E2 they received, which hasn't been in service for long. I've already posted the clip of this aircraft's first time landing into Cape Town, so make sure to check it out if you haven't. If you ever have a flight from gate A12, once your boarding pass has been scanned, take a look to the right. The positioning of this gate gives some great views of the apron. Does anyone know what the reason for these sticker-like things on the glass of the jet bridges is? They always make getting shots a hassle, so if anyone knows, please share. Since the seat I've booked is towards the back of the aircraft, we board via the stairs. In fact, this was the reason I booked such a seat, to be right up and close with this beauty. Here we are inside. As you can see, the cabin is in the standard 3-3 configuration. The first 3 rows of the premium class is in a 2-2 configuration. You can see the cabin is being taken care of. Nice and clean, spacious, overall very appealing. The tray table isn't foldable or extendable, but one thing I noticed is that it's considerably thicker than the other airlines. In the seat pocket you've got the usual safety card and sick bag. The legroom is pretty standard, and what's nice is that there's nothing obstructing the space underneath the seat in front. Some airlines have little boxes under each seat, which makes it slightly less comfortable for the person behind. And there goes the E2 we saw earlier blasting off to Johannesburg. But here comes a big boy. Such a privilege to see jets like these from such a near distance. Now, this is the moment I look like an idiot. So I was casually looking out the window, as I do for the majority of flights, when a man said to me, "Excuse me, can my son sit by the window?" Now obviously I'm trying to make this YouTube video because flights aren't cheap, so I said, sorry man, I'm making a video so I'd really like to sit by the window. He then says, "What's your seat number?" And I say, 21F. That's the moment I realized I was sitting in the wrong seat. I was in 21A instead of 21F. Eesh. So of course I got up and sincerely apologized, but I was greeted with another surprise. It seems someone was already sitting in 21F. Yo, double-ish. I spoke to the lady and it seemed she was in the wrong row. So there was a bit of squeezing about as she got out her seat. I tried getting past the first family whose seat I've accidentally taken, but eventually everything was sorted and everyone was in their correct places. The bags are loaded into the hold and soon we begin the pushback. As we slowly become parallel to the runway, here comes a Sapphire 737 with the mist making it look extra cool. At the last minute, I managed to get the last bit of the A320's famous barking noise, which is from the power transfer unit. We were set to depart at 10 AM, but lined up onto runway 19 at 10:30. For me personally, not a problem. As we approach the clouds, we take a left turn over False Bay to face northeast. If you'd like to watch the full takeoff, it's already on the channel. Recently the Western Cape has been quite chilly, and as you can see, we've even got some snow. After playing back the flight on Flight Radar 24, at this moment we were somewhere in the Franschhoek, Worcester area. But what a treat to see snow at the bottom of Africa. realized that the text printed at the back of the seats was written in both English as well as another language. After putting it through Google Translate, it had identified it as Portuguese. I find this pretty strange since from what I know, in all the countries where this plane was based, Portuguese is not a major language. Lyft is one of the carriers that provide complimentary snacks for all passengers. About half an hour after takeoff, the crew started handing out snacks. One flight attendant came around with a choice of dried fruit and nut mix or biscuits. This is the dried fruit and nut mix. Then about 10 minutes later, a different flight attendant came to offer drinks. I don't find this to be a major issue, but if they were served together, that would have been better in my opinion. In true South African style, the weather changed again, with the clouds becoming thin and wispy. Here you can even see the wind turbines of the ZS-GAR wind energy facility. Shortly after, we encountered a couple bumps, but nothing unusual, but you can see the shaking of the wing. We even got to see part of South Africa's longest river, the Orange River. This is Koffiefontein, a small town known for diamonds and coffee. You can see the mine as well as a small airfield to the right, which has the ICAO code of FAKV. Still at an altitude of 38,000 feet, we took a series of turns, first to the left, north of Bloemfontein, and then to the right, north of Kroonstad. My assumption would be to avoid weather, but of course I'm not a pilot, this is just my guess. After a sharp right and left turn, we lined up with runway 03 right, about 50 kilometers out. Like the takeoff, I've also posted the full arrival on the channel if you'd like to watch that. When coming into land, I hope the landing will be better than my last time flying Lyft, which was a really firm one. Thankfully, this time was much better. When vacating off the runway, I heard a repeating low-pitched knocking sound. However, it didn't come out very clear on this video, but I still wonder what it is. As usual, when we began to disembark, I asked the flight attendant if I could see the flight deck and greet the pilots. She said no problem, but what was surprising was the queue to go to the flight deck. This is my first time seeing more than one other person asked to visit the flight deck, but I'm very glad more people have an interest in aviation. The pilot told me that the cockpit has undergone upgrades over the years, such as replacing the CRT screens with the newer LCD ones. Anyways, so what's it like to fly such an old aircraft? To be completely honest, if I didn't know this aircraft was so old, I would have never said so. I'm sure most passengers are completely unaware of the age. Lyft definitely does a good job of keeping the aircraft looking new, fresh and very presentable. There are other airlines in South Africa with aircraft not even half this A320's age, which are in far more of an inferior state. Aircraft aside, Lyft have a very polished overall product. Their website is extremely user-friendly, their customer service is top tier. I mean, I had an inquiry about hand luggage. I sent them a WhatsApp message and received a reply in exactly 5 minutes. And in 15 minutes, my entire situation was resolved. There are other airlines in South Africa. I emailed them exactly the same inquiry about hand luggage, and as of making this video, it's been a week and I still haven't received any response. I feel small things like this is what makes some airlines grow and others fall. Apart from this, the price for this flight was pretty reasonable in the current market. Usually Lyft aren't the cheapest for the routes they fly. For this one-way trip I paid 1,150 Rand. If I had booked one day earlier, it would have been 1,000 Rand, but unfortunately I missed that opportunity. Well, I've been impressed by Lyft, even having flown them before for the first time a year ago. Feel free to share your thoughts if you'd like. Have you flown with Lyft? How was the experience? And would you fly on a 37-year-old aircraft? As usual, thank you for watching and for your support. The more you engage with the videos and help grow the channel, the easier it is to make videos like these. I'll hopefully see you again soon. Bye bye and take care.